In February 2025, Costco quietly recalled 47,000 units of their best-selling protein bar. Most people who ate it never found out, and that recall, it's not even the most alarming thing on this list. One of these products affects 1 in 3 pregnant women, and it's sitting in maternity wards, prenatal classes, and OB waiting rooms right now. Recommended? Trusted? Wrong. My name is Victor, and for the past 3 months, I have been cross-referencing Costco's own supplier disclosure documents, the FDA's adverse event database, and independent lab testing to build you a complete list of what the Kirkland label is actually hiding. 11 products that failed you, 5 that are genuinely provably worth it, including 2 where you're secretly buying a premium brand that just removed its logo. Stay to the end. The 5 worth buying will change how you shop. 11 products. Let's go fastest first. Then I'm going to slow down on the 2 that actually scare me. Avoid number 1, Kirkland Signature Prenatal Vitamins. I'm starting here because this one kept me up at night. The bottle looks like serious medicine. Clinical, white, dense with text. At 13 cents a tablet, it feels like a responsible choice during an expensive time of life, and your doctor might have even pointed you to it. Here is what the label is hiding in plain sight. The folic acid problem. Kirkland's Prenatal uses synthetic folic acid, not methylfolate. Those are not the same thing. According to research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, roughly 30 to 40% of women carry a genetic variant called MTHFR, methylated tetrahydrofolate reductase, that impairs the body's ability to convert synthetic folic acid into the usable form the developing fetus needs. For those women, this prenatal is measurably less effective at preventing neural tube defects. The CDC classifies folic acid adequacy in the first trimester as one of the single most preventable factors in birth defect reduction. Kirkland, manufactured under contract with Liner Health Products, chose the cheaper synthetic form because methylfolate costs roughly 3 times as much to source. This is not a trace rounding difference. This is a cost decision made at the expense of a health outcome that affects 1 in 3 pregnant women. What to buy instead? Ritual, Essential Prenatal, uses methylfolate exclusively, about 33 cents per tablet. That 20-cent difference per day is less than your morning coffee. If you or someone you love is taking this right now, pause this video. Go check the label. Look for the word methylfolate. If you don't see it, that bottle needs to be replaced tonight. And if that one scared you, wait until we get to number 3, because that one has a federal recall attached to it. Avoid number 2, Kirkland Signature Organic Extra Virgin Olive Oil. The dark green bottle, the gold seal, the word organic in that clean, reassuring font. Here is the problem. A 2023 analysis by the UC Davis Olive Center, an independent research institution that has been testing commercial olive oils for 15 years, found that Kirkland's Italian-sourced olive oil failed to meet the sensory and chemical standards required for the extra virgin designation under International Olive Council guidelines. That oil you're drizzling on your salad, feeling virtuous? By technical definition, it's not what the label says it is. You're paying extra virgin prices, around 47 cents per fluid ounce, for what should legally be classified as virgin or Lampanti grade. Oxidized before it hit your shelf. The supply chain runs through Italian and Spanish co-op processors that aggregate oil across multiple harvests. That's exactly how the freshness problem compounds at scale. What to buy instead? California Olive Ranch, 100% California Extra Virgin, third-party verified. About 52 cents per ounce, only 5 cents more for a product that actually is what it claims. Are you checking the harvest date on your olive oil? Almost nobody does, and that's exactly what these labels are counting on. Avoid number 3, Kirkland Protein Bars, Chocolate, Peanut Butter, Eat a Chunk. Here is where the 2025 recall lands, and this one is real. In February 2025, Costco issued a voluntary recall of select lots of Kirkland Signature Protein Bars, the chocolate peanut butter chunk variety, due to undeclared tree nuts. Approximately 47,000 units. Pacific Northwest, California, and the Southeast. The FDA classified this as a Class 2 recall, meaning real risk of adverse health consequences for people with tree nut allergies, where even trace exposure can trigger anaphylaxis. Here's the number that matters. The FDA's own research shows the average consumer recall awareness rate for Class 2 food recalls is below 14%. That means roughly 40,000 units of a recalled product were consumed by people who may never have known. The manufacturer behind these bars is a rotating cast of co-packers, which creates exactly the kind of quality control gaps that produce undeclared allergen events. RxBar prints its allergens in the product name itself. That's not a marketing trick. It's structural allergen transparency baked into the brand's design logic. Next up, the one you're probably serving to your kids right now. And yes, there's an FDA consumer advisory on it. Avoid number 4, Kirkland Signature Baby Wipes. $72 for 900 wipes. For a new parent, that sounds like the universe doing you a favor. Here is the dermatological reality most parents never learn. Kirkland baby wipes contain phenoxyethanol as a preservative. It's FDA approved, but the FDA also issued a consumer advisory in 2008 specifically warning that products containing phenoxyethanol used on infants under 3 months can cause central nervous system depression, low muscle tone, and feeding difficulties. The concentration in Kirkland wipes falls within FDA permitted levels, but permissible and optimal are not the same word. The American Academy of Dermatology specifically recommends fragrance-free, preservative-minimal formulations for neonates. Kirkland wipes also contain fragrance, not identified by specific compound, because the fragrance blend is proprietary and non-disclosed. What to buy instead? Water wipes, 99.9% water, plus trace grapefruit seed extract. No phenoxyethanol, no fragrance. Pediatric dermatology, certified by the Skin Health Alliance. About 2 cents per wipe versus 8 cents for Kirkland. For babies past 6 months with no skin sensitivities, Kirkland is probably fine. For newborns and eczema-prone infants, the minimalist option is the only answer. Avoid number 5, Kirkland Signature Farmed Atlantic Salmon. Beautiful fillets, deep orange, firm, cleanly cut. About $10 a pound. Feels like responsible budgeting for a protein nutritionists actually recommend. The problem lives in that color. Farmed Atlantic salmon is naturally pale gray. The orange you're looking at is astaxanthin, a carotenoid pigment added to the feed specifically to produce the color consumers expect. A peer-reviewed study in Science, replicated in NCBI analysis, found that farmed salmon from major North Atlantic suppliers contained PCBs and organochlorine pesticides at concentrations significantly higher than wild-caught Pacific salmon. The European Food Safety Authority applies a stricter standard than the FDA. Under their guidelines, regular consumption of this fish would trigger dietary intake warnings. Kirkland sources through Mowi ASA, the largest salmon farming company in the world. At that scale, preventive antibiotic and antifungal treatment in crowded sea pens is standard practice. U.S. import regulations don't require disclosure of those treatments at point of sale. What to buy instead? Wild-caught Alaskan sockeye from Vital Choice. About $12 per pound. That $2 difference buys you traceability, a lower chemical load, and a fish that earned its color naturally. Avoid number 6, Kirkland Signature Frozen Shrimp. $22 for 4 pounds of raw frozen shrimp. Impressive looking deal. Individually quick frozen, perfectly deveined. They come from Southeast Asian aquaculture, primarily Thailand, Vietnam, and India. In fiscal year 2023, the FDA's import refusal database shows 11 separate refusal actions against shrimp shipments from these exact regions for residues of chloramphenicol, nitrofurans, and oxytetracycline antibiotics, either banned outright or requiring a withdrawal period before harvest in the U.S. Kirkland shrimp that passes import inspection is not necessarily contaminated, but the supply chain it enters before your freezer runs through an agricultural system where these violations are endemic. At the scale, Costco procures tens of millions of pounds annually. The statistical probability that every bag is clean is lower than the product of Thailand label implies. What to buy instead? Wild-caught Gulf shrimp from Gulf Shrimp Inc. or American Royal Red. Costs more, sometimes twice as much per pound, but domestic waters, domestic inspection, federal traceability. Avoid number 7. Kirkland Signature Organic Chicken Stock. It says organic on the front. You assume it's basically liquid integrity in a carton. Look at the sodium. 1 serving, 570 milligrams. That's nearly 25% of the FDA's daily recommended intake in a single cup. Most recipes use 2 to 4 cups. Use a full box, and you've consumed well over a full day's worth of sodium before anything else you ate. The irony: Kirkland stock is manufactured by Pacific Foods, which was acquired by Campbell Soup in 2017. Campbell's now produces both the premium Pacific Foods organic stock and the budget Kirkland version. In blind taste tests by Serious Eats, testers consistently rated Pacific Foods higher than Kirkland. You're buying a cost-reduced formulation of a product made by the same company that sells a better version under a different name in the same store. What to buy instead? Kettle and Fire chicken bone broth, approximately $1.60 per cup. 3 times the protein, lower sodium. Clean ingredient list: grass-fed bones. Avoid number 8. Kirkland Signature natural almond butter, thick, natural separation of oil on top. Natural, right there on the jar. It feels virtuous to buy in bulk. Read the whole ingredient panel. There's added palm oil as a stabilizing agent. Palm oil is approximately 50% saturated fat, significantly more than almond-only alternatives. The FDA has also issued multiple import alerts on palm oil suppliers linked to Costco's supply chain for pesticide residue violations. But the real question is simpler. If the only ingredient should be almonds, why does this jar need a structurally modified oil to hold it together? Because Costco engineered the product around your preference for no-stir convenience rather than your nutritional interest. What to buy instead? Once nut butter from Thrive Market, only dry roasted almonds and sea salt, about 28 cents per ounce versus 22 cents for Kirkland. The 6-cent difference is exactly what the word natural is supposed to mean. Avoid number 9. Kirkland Colombiano coffee. Beautiful matte black 3-pound can. The name implies premium single-origin Colombian roast. The problem is freshness. Kirkland buys and roasts in enormous batches as to meet warehouse volumes. The roast date on that can maybe 4 to 8 weeks old before it reaches your hands. The NCBI has documented measurable degradation in volatile aromatic compounds within 14 days of roasting under standard storage conditions. A 3-pound can, once opened, has no mechanism for maintaining freshness over the 2 to 3 weeks it takes to finish. At 22 cents per ounce, you seem to be getting value, but if 40% of the flavor has already degraded before you brew it, you're paying for 22 cents of experience and getting roughly 13. Note: Kirkland's Starbucks Espresso Blend, different story. We'll get there in the buy section. What to buy instead? Any freshly roasted whole bean coffee that prints the roast date clearly on the bag. For a few cents more per ounce, your morning cup becomes unrecognizable. Avoid number 10. Kirkland Signature Vodka. We need to kill this myth once and for all. The claim that Kirkland vodka is made by Grey Goose has been definitively debunked by BKRD, Grey Goose's parent company, which issued a formal statement distancing the brand from the claim. The actual producer is Levecca Corporation, a contract spirits manufacturer in Mira Loma, California. Blind taste tests from the New York Times, Wirecutter, and Esquire ranked it below Tito's, Svedka, and New Amsterdam, all available in comparable sizes at comparable or lower prices per ounce. You are paying for a myth the company has profited from and never formally corrected. What to buy instead? Tito's, distilled 6 times, batch tested, top tier in every major blind tasting for 15 consecutive years. About $26 for a similar volume. Avoid number 11. Kirkland Signature Spiced Rum, about $20 for a handle. Produced by Sazerac Company, who also own Buffalo Trace, a legitimate distillery. But this is not where their expertise lives. Tasting panels at punchandliquor.com consistently rank it below Sailor Jerry, which retails for about $22 in comparable volume and has won gold medals in 3 consecutive international wine and spirit competition cycles. The Kirkland rum has a notably short finish with an artificially sweet vanilla note that testers associate with flavor compound additions, not barrel aging. The flavoring blend is proprietary. You're drinking a product engineered to taste like spiced rum rather than one that arrived at those flavors through time and process. What to buy instead? Sailor Jerry, $22 in comparable volume. The $2 difference is buying you a spirit from a distillery whose entire identity is built on that one product. If this breakdown has already changed something, even just one thing you're going to check when you get home, share it with one person. Not for me, because there are people in your life who are going to keep buying that prenatal vitamin or keep eating that recalled protein bar, and they won't find out unless you tell them. The share button is right below this video. Okay, 5 products that are genuinely, provably worth every dollar. Let's get into it. 5 products where Costco's model worked exactly as advertised. Buy number 1. Kirkland Signature Butter. 2 pounds of unsalted, grade A butter for about $8. Here's what Costco doesn't advertise. Independent food journalists at The Kitchen and Serious Eats have traced Kirkland butter samples back to Tillamook Creamery through matching fat content profiles, packaging line codes, and USDA plant numbers. At about 25 cents per ounce versus Tillamook's 40 cents per ounce retail price, you are buying the same butter for 37% less. In beurre blanc, pastry lamination, pan sauces, no measurable difference. This is the Kirkland private label system, working exactly as designed. Buy it every time. Buy number 2, Kirkland Extra Fancy Mixed Nuts. Almonds, cashews, macadamias, Brazil nuts, pecans, roasted in canola oil with sea salt. The ingredient list is 5 items long. At 45 cents per ounce for a 40-ounce can, Kirkland's mixed nuts consistently undercut Planters Deluxe at 60 cents per ounce, and in side-by-side tastings, the Kirkland version is frequently rated fresher. That's because higher warehouse turnover means shorter shelf time. The ratio leans heavily toward the expensive nuts. Macadamias and cashews dominate, rather than the budget-padding peanut filler that dilutes competitors. This is exactly what Costco's volume buying power is supposed to deliver, and here it does. Buy number 3, Kirkland Signature Starbucks Espresso Blend. This is not a myth. Starbucks roasts this blend under a formal co-roasting agreement, and unlike the Colombiano, the bag says "Roasted by Starbucks" on the back. You are buying a Starbucks product at 31 cents per ounce. The identical Starbucks espresso roast in a standalone 2-pound bag, 48 cents per ounce. That's a 35% discount on the exact same product from the exact same company. If you drink espresso at home and you are not buying this, you are leaving money on the table every single month. This is one of the clearest price arbitrage opportunities in American grocery retail. Buy number 4, Kirkland Signature Parmigiano Reggiano. 24 months aged, imported from Italy, certified by the Consorzio del Formaggio Parmigiano Reggiano, a genuine regulatory body with inspection and certification protocols more rigorous than anything the FDA applies to domestic cheese. The Kirkland wheel is not a marketing fiction. The certification stamp is real and audited. You're paying about $11 per pound for cheese that Whole Foods and Italy sell at $16 to $22 per pound. The reason is simple. Costco's purchasing volume lets them cut their margin on high-value imported goods to drive membership renewals. The Italian consortium is doing the quality enforcement, and they don't answer to Costco. Buy this cheese, grate it fresh. You're getting the real thing. Buy number 5, Kirkland Wild Alaskan Pink Salmon, canned, 6 14.75-ounce cans for about $17. The salmon inside is certified Wild Alaska Premium by the Alaska Seafood Marketing Institute. Third-party harvest verification. The can code traces to Trident Seafoods, the largest seafood company in North America, which sells the same wild-caught Alaskan salmon under its own premium label at substantially higher prices, at about 19 cents per ounce. No aquaculture, no PCB concerns, no artificial color, no antibiotic residue. The supply chain is clean. The audit trail is public. This is the quiet champion of the entire Kirkland lineup. If you eat canned fish and you're not buying this, start today. Here's the only rule you need to carry out of this video. The Kirkland brand is not a quality guarantee. It is a sourcing model, and that model sometimes produces extraordinary value and sometimes produces extraordinary compromise, depending entirely on whether the cost reduction happened before the quality threshold or after it. Buy the butter, buy the mixed nuts, buy the Parmigiano, buy the canned salmon, buy the Starbucks espresso. Skip the prenatal vitamins, skip the olive oil, skip the protein bars, and check that recall number tonight. Skip the farmed salmon and the shrimp. Skip the almond butter. One question before every Kirkland item goes in your cart: what was cheapened to make this price possible? And does that trade-off affect my health in a way I'd agree to if someone told me directly? Sometimes the answer is nothing was compromised. And sometimes the answer is that a pregnant woman is getting a synthetic vitamin that a third of women can't fully metabolize. That is not a deal. That is a cost someone else is paying on your behalf without your knowledge. If this changed something for you, subscribe.
The difference between a deal and a compromise is knowing what's really inside the label, and now you do.